Welcome to Let's Talk Life with DianaToday, where you will always find a word of encouragement and especially a word of restoration. Tonight is a very special night. I have two very special people, two amazing guests that have so much to share with us. And we're going to start off tonight by introducing a very dear friend of mine, Melanie Stenson.
Hi.
And I'm so pleased to introduce her. She is one of my business partners at Kayani. Not only a business partner, but she's a friend, and she's just an amazing woman and has so many things to impart and share with us. And also we have Andrew Chapa.
Hello, Di.
With us tonight again as one of our special guests. And he's also one of my business partners with Kayani, a very special friend and a fitness coach. And many of you have already seen him on previous programs. But tonight we have a very, very cool program. I get to just kind of hang out with my friends, and I get to talk about life, and we get to just share a little bit about what network marketing has done for us. Not only are we going after our business opportunity, not only do we have our business goals, but also we've just been able to connect in a very, very special way. So tonight we're going to be sharing with you the different things that happen when you align with the right people, those alignments that just kind of come together and just really make an impact on our life. And so with that in mind, I want to turn it over to Chapa, actually. I like to call him Chapa. And let's just talk about, what has network marketing done for you? I know that we've discussed it in the past, that, and I've discussed it and shared it with, quite a few other people, that network marketing it's not even so much about the business opportunity or even the product itself, which I think is fantastic, but all of the things that come along with it. And so I would love for you to share with us, what does it mean for you and what has it done for you?
Well, that's a great question. And one of the things that you mentioned a while ago, Diana, is alignments. And our good friend Amy Siever defined, our alignments define our assignments. And we hear that in the network marketing industry because it's so true. Beyond the business, the alignments define our assignments. I wouldn't be sitting here with you today had I not listened to an opportunity with Miss Amy Siever almost 20 years ago.
Yes.
And so those assignments create friendships, which create a family, a term we use, a family of choice.
Yes.
And so there's things that you do outside the business that allows you to do more things, as for like ministry, what has been what we do together.
Right.
And so family of choice is one of the biggest things in the assignments. The alignments that have defined my assignments to be here tonight with you started with me saying yes to an opportunity many, many years ago.
Right. And a lot of times when we're praying about something, and I saw a video a long time ago, and many of you may have seen it, that video with the girl, she's talking to her boyfriend or something with a nail in her head.
Yes.
Right? And so she's saying, you just don't understand. And he's looking at her because it's so obvious, right? And so a lot of times God does answer our prayer.
Yes.
And it's right in front of us. And sometimes it comes in different ways, and it shows up, God shows up in different ways. And so the importance of being aligned with the right people and making those connections, and how God begins to connect the dots. Let's say what he started 20 years ago with you. If you look at this table, it started with you 20 years ago. It touched my life, and now it has touched Melanie's life, right? And the way that we have connected. And so what does family of choice mean? For those people who are not really familiar with that terminology, what does that mean?
That's a great question. And my son had told Amy about that. Didn't know the definition, but we were doing that. And so family choice means it's having people like ourselves, like you, Melanie, like you, Diana, and doing life with each other besides our family. I mean, we're so close and can almost, we can pick up the phone at 2:00 in the morning and call someone like yourself, and without any questions, you're there.
Yes.
Prayer, great. Need a ride somewhere, great. There's something happening in the family, you're there. So it's a family of choice. We have family that we're born of origin, but family of choice is who we choose to do life with. Right. And so when you have like-minded people, doing the same things and chasing the same purpose,
right,
then it goes back to you love being with these people.
Right.
Because you are my family of choice.
Right. And that's awesome. And in the context of network marketing, being entrepreneurs, right? It's not performance driven.
No.
I believe it was last Saturday, Melanie and I were on a conference call, and it was an amazing conference call. And I had the opportunity to share when I was in corporate a couple of years back. I worked for a very large corporation, and there was a woman there that was extremely successful, very, very successful. And she had a set of twins, and they had a tragic accident in the home, and she lost one of the twins. And I mean, there are no words to express her grief, her pain. And I had just come on board, so I didn't know her that well. But I could hear her cry from her office. And I recall that she came out and she said, can I talk to you? Can you pray for me? And it was one of those amazing things, because we didn't know each other that well, but she felt that she had the freedom to do that. But what really struck me was we understood she was grieving. The pain was so real, but she eventually lost her job shortly after.
Wow.
Because her pain was so much that she wasn't able to really function. In the middle of a meeting, she would start crying, and she would close the door to her office and start crying. And so it is in no way am I putting corporate down, or no way am I putting any company down. But the point I'm trying to make is, when you align with people that become family, they lean in. Mm-hmm. They're calling you not to ask you what you're not doing. They're calling you to find out, are you okay? How can we help you? How can we help you be better? Hey, you need to jump on this call. Hey, what can I do to help you move forward? Or, you didn't sound the same today. What's going on with you? It's a whole different dynamic where you're able to freely be the hand and feet of Jesus in your business, in your relationships, have the freedom. And this past Saturday, I was just so blown away because Rocky Boaz was leading one of our conference calls, and he just has the whole freedom to talk about how God works and the blessing of God upon our life. He's praying over his team. He's sharing stories with us, and he shared the book that Andy Andrews wrote. And that book, oh my gosh, and I even got a picture of a paragraph from that book, and it's amazing when he talked about the second act. And the second act has to do with seasons of our life. And that many times the second act will be the best act because we've already experienced some hardship. We've already been going through things, and how God puts people into that season of our life. And so network marketing, it's not only about a business, and it's not only about a product, but it's also about creating that family of choice.
Yes.
And that's what you've experienced as well.
And one more thing I want to add to that, if that's okay, is family of choice. And one of the experiences that we had early on is with Miss Amy Seaver. So besides the business, when my wife was going through her breast cancer and all the dynamics of that, who was there right there with us was Miss Amy Seaver. Was your team. Was our team.
Yeah.
Through my daughter's heart surgeries, our team was there in prayer, there in support.
Right.
And so it's family of choice. And so when you grieve, they grieve.
Right.
When you are being blessed, they're blessed because you are a blessing. Yeah. So again, family of choice.
The Bible says that, right? Rejoice with those who rejoice and mourn with those who mourn.
Right.
Right? And a lot of times it's not, we won't have the answer. We're not going to have an answer for everything. But sometimes just knowing that somebody's there with you, that someone will listen to you, or even, say, it's okay. If you want to cry, go ahead and cry. Sometimes when people say, oh, don't cry. Well, I can't help it. That's not something you can help. It's actually having the comfort to be able to do that, to be able to say, today I'm not doing that great. Today I'm not. And so one of the things that network marketing provides for many of us is the comfort. Number one, especially I have so many single mom friends that have been or are in some form of network marketing, where now they can be stay-at-home moms, they can take care of their children and run a business and be successful. That's amazing.
That is amazing.
That is amazing. And that's an answer to prayer Because as a single mom, you're saying, Lord, I need you to provide. I need you to provide. Mm-hmm. And he's providing it right in front of us. And we just need to share that opportunity. And it aligns us with, family of choice. And it creates in us an answer to our prayer in a community, and connects us with people that speak our language and that may very well find themselves in the same season of life, which is what leads me to talk about Melanie. Because had it not been, and I am so grateful, honestly, so grateful to have met you, the greatness I see in you, the gifting that I see in you, your presence makes such a difference when you walk into a room and you don't even know that about yourself, and I remember the first day that we met, thankfully I was invited to your home and you were sharing, your experiences, but immediately I felt like my spirit resonated and connected. Like I knew, and I think I shared this with Chapa later, I said, I need to connect with Melanie.
Yes.
And I know that at that time, little did you know, the crossroads that I was in, and then of course you were in that. So for us, it has brought that community. And so I just want to give you that opportunity to share with us, what your experience has been.
Yeah, well, for me, during that time in my life, I really was walking through a really tough season, and this company and fellowship with you guys really, really walked alongside of me and helped me get through a really tough time in my life.
Right.
And it was huge for me. It saved me.
Right. And what happens is when we're going through a difficult time, right? We're going through, whether it be grieving, whether it be a loss. I know that I've had some challenges in my life. And sometimes as focused as you want to be, it's kind of hard to stay focused, and you're at work and you're at your desk, you're in front of your computer and your mind goes somewhere else, or you're trying to think, how am I going to resolve this? How is this going to come together? But somehow God will always align you with people that maybe you're not saying anything, but they're perceiving, right? And that's the beauty. That is so the beauty of serving God and of knowing that he's in control. Because I remember that the time that we met at your house, we were all having a really good time, and we were there for a presentation, and we had our heels and our earrings going on. I know I did. Did you have your heels? You didn't have your earrings going on, not the earrings, right? And so we have all this going on, but in my spirit, you see, and that's what really makes all the difference in the world. In my spirit, I knew that God was aligning us for a reason. And then after speaking with you and after getting to know you and having that opportunity, I realized that there's assignments, right? It's not about one thing. It's about assignment. Yeah. And I realized that some of the things that I've walked in my life, you were walking through. Right. And it was my opportunity to step in. So I don't know if you wanted to share a little bit about our recent experience.
Yeah. Well, the day that we had just recently connected last weekend was just a tough time for me. Yeah. And we had talked a couple of weeks ago and really had felt like the Lord was calling me back out of just the season that I was walking through, and feeling like reaching out to you and just having that time to talk and walking in that community really was just a beautiful thing. So the day that you called me was just, it was an answered prayer. Like I had been praying that day to for you, and you reached out. So.
And sometimes we don't know how he's going to do it. Right. I mean, not at all. And we think, God, are you hearing me? Do you hear me? And one of the passages that for me is just, it blesses me, and I can dig into it. And I've shared it with so many people, but the story of Joseph, right? And so we know that he was marked for greatness. God gave him a word. It was true, and God's word and his promises are true. But the process that he had to walk through, if you and I had to hang out with Joseph, we'd probably think, dude, like, what's wrong with him?
True.
Think about it. Like, I always think about Job's friends, right? Yeah. When Job started going through difficulty, they all showed up, but when it took longer than they expected, they're like, dude, what's wrong? Are you like not praying? What's going on? And so a lot of times we don't understand process. You see, we think that when God says something or when we set out to do something, we want it to happen overnight.
Yeah, right
we want
away.
it to happen right away. But the process doesn't work that way. We need to go through certain things, certain situations. He aligns us with certain people. You got into this business because I just found out tonight how you got into this business, which is like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. Please share with us how because this is part of the process.
Well, starting into how I came into the business, it was last June, and we were visiting my mom. She was doing a triathlon, and we were at the hotel. And that day it had rained. There was a huge storm, and it had moved everything, rearranged the whole race. Everything had been moved inside. And so we were actually finished up early, and we ended up in the coffee shop with the rest of the Kayani family. And they were in there getting breakfast. And that's when we was first introduced to the business. And I didn't know at the time anything about the Kayani or anything at the time. And I connected with my sponsor in line, and that's kind of how my story started.
Wow.
She mentioned the key word, a storm.
Right.
There was a storm that day. And that day we were talking earlier that there were other people that were also deterred by, that storm, that it bothered them. Some people, there was flooding going on, local flooding, so people couldn't come to the event. People had challenges and they came anyway. And so what that storm seemed like was it seemed like a big downpour, a big cloud over our lives, but it was really a blessing. Because had that storm not happened, you never would have.
I never would have been in that coffee shop. I would have never met Chelsea. None of this. I mean, it was God aligning everything in that space and that moment for me to come in here and come into the community and meet these people and have the opportunity to walk alongside of them during the toughest season of my life.
So Diana, a storm, instead of, we feel a storm of flooding away, it was actually planting and harvesting a seed.
And how easy, I'll tell you this, how easy it would be for us to complain in those moments, right? Oh my gosh, the race got canceled. The rain is, my hair got all messed up that day. I mean, it just got the frizzies going on, But a lot of times, and I've been guilty of this, and that's why I can speak about it so freely, because when we're going through the storm and we're going through what we feel is a shipwreck, and I'm writing a book called From Shipwreck to Purpose, and I'm hoping to finish it very soon. But what we feel is a shipwreck, what we feel is just an interruption in our life. The rain is pouring, there's a storm outside, but really what God is doing is getting us closer to our purpose, getting us closer to the plan that He has. He needed that to happen so you can meet these people, because He knew your season. He knew He needed to align you. And as His daughter, and because He loves you beyond measure, He was hearing your prayer, said, I need to align you with these people. Because the people that He aligns us with will be people that are seasoned to speak into our lives for that moment and for what that's going on. And for instance, in Joseph's life, he receives this word that he's going to be in leadership. I mean, I would be excited to hear you're going to be in leadership. He hears it. He's young and he's excited. I'm going to be in leadership, and he shares it with his brothers. So therefore, the process unleashes. Are you kidding me? You would think they would celebrate him. Dude, you're going to be in leadership, No. It unleashed a very long storm. A very long storm. Got sold by his brothers, ended up falsely accused, going to prison, and doing all these things. Joseph had a rap sheet before he came to the palace. I mean, if we want to look at it from that perspective, if we were to spend time with him, we would wonder, what's going on? But God had a purpose in each of those moments. It got him closer to the plan of God, his promise. And I believe that what God has done with our group and even with our team, it's an amazing team. It's an amazing opportunity for a lot of us. For me, it's been an amazing opportunity to have, multiple streams of income. I have my daughters. My daughters are in school. I want to be able to bless them. I've been a single mom for the last 10 years of my life, and I've been in corporate. I've had great positions, and I've also had great disappointments. And so having this opportunity opens up other avenues. And now we have the opportunity not only to be in a business, but to talk about the things that God is doing in our lives. And that's what we find, with each other. And so, Chapa, let me just, kind of share with you again, when you said, that storm, right? There's difficulties that have led you to be where you're at right now, yes. Right? And there's been moments when you feel as though, how is God going to turn this around? So can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, there's always a storm, but the storm has to happen for growth to happen, right? And so I wouldn't be here without the storms that have passed, the preparation,
right?
With my daughter, many heart surgeries, my challenges health-wise with my wife, but it led us closer to God, which allowed us to understand that to let God intercede for us. Right. That would create divine appointments.
Yes.
And so, and then we talked about family choice a while ago. And sometimes, like for us, we were family choice before we were business partners.
Right.
And sometimes that back door, being a family of choice, comes back.
Yes.
While you were going through a storm.
Yes.
And just like I had that tugging on my heart to call you because I needed to talk to you.
Yeah, I remember that.
But little did we know we'd have church that would wind up introducing both of us to a dear friend, Rocky Boaz, that was supposed to do a presentation.
Right.
But we wind up having church and community.
It was amazing.
And it was family instantly.
Right.
So weathering the storm, understand that there's going to be sunshine and flowers blooming that God has on the other side of that storm for us.
Absolutely. And maybe you're watching the program tonight and you are in some form of network marketing or your business or just your alignments in your life. And you may be going through a difficult time wondering, what's my next? How am I going to get out of this? You need to have the assurance that God is in control. Yes. He's going to lead the way. He's going to orchestrate your steps, surround you with the right people. And if you are in that setting, just be mindful that he's going to use people around you to answer your prayer. And a lot of times things don't happen overnight.
No.
They don't. And I know that even in business, you go into business and you feel like the next day your bank account's going to be full and flowing and overflowing. And for some people, it might happen that way, but not for everybody. And so, before we close the program, Melanie, I just wanted, I saw you walk on the stage, and I remember sitting in awe, this amazing woman, she stands, but being able to do the business isn't always as easy. You go in, there's seasons, right? And so if you can just share a little bit about those kind of struggles as well.
I mean, you have those moments where there's lots of highs and lows. And the person that you think is going to be your next rock star and superstar, they turn you down. And you're all excited and you have your goals and you keep setting your goals, but it comes back to your vision. What is God put in your heart and what God has placed into your life to keep moving you forward, to keep pushing you through those moments of lows and keep walking out what He's called you to do in your life.
And it's funny that you would say that because sometimes we see people and we say, oh my gosh, this would be so perfect for you. But they don't see it in themselves. And the same thing would happen with me all the time. People, this would be so good. And I'm thinking, not really, and because I'm so focused on doing what and then God is so amazing that He packaged it in such a way. Really? Okay, well, I'm going to have you do what you love to do. And on top of that, do this. Why? Because it's the opportunity to help people. And that's really the core. That's my heart. Being able to speak into people's lives. And I know that at one point, somebody said, Diana, how come it's so much easier for you to believe for others than it is for you to believe for yourself? And I think that was a very good statement, but it also brought a lot of conviction to me because I always feel like I could see it in you, but I also needed to walk that out. And, before we close the program for tonight, I think that I saw that video, Steve Harvey's video where he talked about the jump. And it was one of those moments where something just kind of like, it's a revelation, I would say, that I said, no, I have to jump. I have to jump. Yeah. I don't want to stay with this doubt. And then God opened the opportunity to be a life coach, The next thing you know, I was doing life coaching. I was doing a business. And then now we're, have the program here on this amazing network, DSTV. Yes. And we have friendships, and there's so many things, and there's so much more to come as well. And so tonight we just want to be able to highlight not only, our network marketing, and maybe you're in network marketing, whatever product it is, whatever company that may be, but it can be so much more. It's enriching. It's being able to communicate. It's being able to have a family of choice, have community, and have our prayers answered. And so tonight I want to encourage you, write to us if you're going through a difficult time. We want to be able to help you navigate through those challenges. We want to be able to encourage you to keep moving forward and to trust that God is in control. And he who began the good work in us will perfect it till the day of Jesus Christ. And so, Andrew, thank you so much for joining me on the program once again. And Melanie, thank you so much. You're such a doll. You're awesome. Thank you for being with us. And to you that are tuning in to Let's Talk Life with Diana today, thank you for tuning in, and we will be chatting soon.